So how do you really know if the software you're building or, even the apps you use every day actually work properly?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's all about testing, but not just like running it once and hoping for the best.
Right. It's about having a proper strategy, a way to be confident it won't fall over.
Exactly. Confidence is key. And there's a useful way to think about structuring that testing effort.
Like building something, maybe. You test the bricks, then how the walls connect, then the whole house.
That's a great analogy. For software, we often talk about the testing pyramid.
Ah, the pyramid. I've seen that graphic. Wide at the bottom, narrow at the top.
And that shape isn't just random. It tells you something important about your strategy.
Okay, what are it telling me? Quantity, speed.
Both. And isolation, too. The wide base means you want lots of tests there. They should run fast, and they test things in isolation.
And as you go up, fewer tests, slower, testing more things together.
Precisely. You get more integrated tests as you move towards the peak.
Got it. So let's start at the foundation, that big, wide base. What lives there?
Those are your unit tests. The goal here is super focused. Test the smallest possible piece of code. A single function, maybe a method in a class.
It's just one tiny building block.
Exactly. Like imagine a function that's supposed to just add two numbers.
Okay.
A unit test would feed it, say, 1 and 1, and check if it spits out 2. Every time. Reliably.
And it does only that? It doesn't, talk to a database or anything?
Ideally, no. That's key. They're fast because they're self-contained. They avoid external stuff, databases, network calls. If they have to pretend to talk to something, they use fakes, often called mocks.
Okay, so lots of tiny, fast, independent checks. Makes sense. You want your basic parts to be solid.
Right. Catching a bug here. It's the cheapest and quickest fix you'll ever find. Gives you immediate feedback as you're coding.
So that builds the foundation.
Yeah.
What happens when we move up the pyramid a bit where it gets narrower?
Now we're talking about integration tests.
Integration.
Yeah.
So testing, how those units we just talked about, how they work together.
You got it. It's about verifying the interactions between different components or modules. Does component A successfully pass data to component B?
So testing the connections, the plumbing between the rooms, sticking with the house analogy.
Perfect analogy. You're checking the seams. Do they leak? Does the data flow correctly? Maybe your code needs to call an external API or fetch something from a database.
Right.
An integration test checks that interaction. Did the call go out correctly? Did we handle the response properly?
And these are going to be slower than unit tests, I imagine, because they're doing more, maybe talking to real services, even if they're test services.
Definitely slower.
Oh.
And you typically have fewer of them than unit tests. They involve more moving parts.
It makes sense. Your perfectly unit-tested functions still need to play nicely together.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got units, we got integrations. What's at the very top, the pointy bit?
The end-to-end tests, right. E2E. This sounds like the big one. Testing the whole experience.
It is. This layer simulates a real user interacting with the entire system, from, opening the app or website,
Logging in, clicking around, filling out a form.
submitting it, checking if the data shows up correctly on another page, verifying it's saved in the database, the whole user journey.
Wow, okay. That sounds complex.
They
And slow.
are the slowest, most complex, and you'll have the fewest of these. Why? Because they touch everything. The UI, the back-end code, the database, maybe even external services the app relies on.
So they're brittle. Like if you change a button, the test might break.
They can be, yeah. They require more maintenance. But they give you the ultimate confidence that the entire system works from the user's perspective. Tools like Cypress or Puppeteer often help automate these user simulations.
Gotcha. So pyramid recap. Loads of fast unit tests at the bottom for the basics. Fewer, slightly slower integration tests in the middle for connections. And a small number of slow, complex end-to-end tests at the top for the full user journey.
That's the core structure. It guides you on where to invest your testing effort. Build that strong base of unit tests first.
But wait, are those the only types of tests? What about how fast the app feels? Or if it's secure?
Great point. The pyramid mainly covers functional testing. Does it do what it's supposed to? But you're right, a complete strategy needs more.
Right.
Things like performance tests, is it fast enough? Security tests, are there vulnerabilities? And regression tests, did our latest change break something that used to work?
Okay, so the pyramid is the backbone, but you need other checks too.
Exactly. A good strategy mixes these appropriately, but that pyramid structure for functional correctness is, fundamental. It's about building that confidence layer by layer.
So we've got the layers. Unit, integration, E2E. Each with its place, its trade-offs in speed and scope.
With that strong foundation of unit tests being key for stability and quick feedback.
It really paints a picture of building reliable software, which leads to a final thought, maybe for you listening.
Hmm.
If the whole point of testing is building confidence,
Yeah.
how does understanding these different levels, the units, the integrations, the end-to-end flow, how does that change how you think about building the software itself right from the start? Something to chew on.